This presentation is for the students of semester 3 on general English. This is MD Jalil, Assistant Professor of English, Department of English, Tara Government College, Sangareddy. In our presentations, we have been taking unit number 2 in our syllabus. Unit number 2 is divided into 4 sections. First section is a poem, Punishment in Kindergarten by Kamala Das. And second section is the present presentation. It's a prose piece of writing titled Toasted English, written by R.K. Narayan. Third section belongs to vocabulary, which is on British and American English. Fourth one is grammar section. It covers voice, active voice, passive voice. So in our previous 2 presentations also, we took those presentations covered the present prose piece, Toasted English. So this prose piece essay is written by R.K. Narayan, and in the first 2 presentations, we have completed on Toasted English. We have completed pre-reading activity about the author, about the essay, and some text of the essay. To continuation with those 2 presentations, today we continue the remaining part of the text of the lesson. This Toasted English is written by R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan is a very much known, familiar name in Indian writings English. R.K. Narayan nearly published 60 books in his long career of 60 years. And he created an imaginative town named Malgudi, which resembles the culture of South India, but it is an imaginary town. No such place really exists in India, but he created such a town, and all of his stories, all of his novels take place in that imaginary town, Malgudi. He nearly published 15 novels, among them The Guide, Mr. Sampath, The English Teacher, The Man-Eater of Malgudi are some novels. And many of his novels and his short stories were adopted as either movies or television series. Not only novels, he published numerous short stories as well as many essays. So this present lesson, Toasted English, is also one of the pieces that have come from the pen of R.K. Narayan. So all these details were completed in detail in our previous presentations. In today's presentation, just we begin with about the essay, and after that we try to enter into the text. R.K. Narayan, in 1969, on the invitation of one American university, he visited an American university as a visiting professor. And he spent few days there. He delivered lectures to the students of that American university, and later he returned to India. After returning to India, R.K. Narayan, in the year 1974, published a collection of essays, and he gave the name to that collection of essays as Reluctant Guru. Our present essay, Toasted English, is taken from this collection of essays titled Reluctant. In this essay, R.K. Narayan vividly discusses 3 points. The first important point is R.K. Narayan, during his visit in America, he notices how Americans have adopted the English language to suit their needs. And so they adopted English language that suits their requirements. And he also observed the American English is quite different. It differs a lot with its counterpart, British counterpart. So there are a lot of differences between American English and British English. So in this presentation, R.K. Narayan tries to explore those differences between these two Englishes in the essay with the opt example. And in the conclusion part of this essay, the article, R.K. Narayan tries to conclude the essay by appealing all the Indians to form our own English that are suitable to our conditions, our requirements, our needs, by taking Americans as examples. So all these points are discussed very clearly, very elaborately in the present lesson. We see the text now onwards in detail. So in our previous presentations, we have completed some of the text, the beginning part of the text, and in the presentation, we try to continue the remaining part of the text. So by just reminding you briefly those ideas that were presented by R.K. Narayan in the text in our previous presentation that we have covered in our previous presentation, just reminding them, we try to enter into our today's presentation. In the beginning of the essay, R.K. Narayan says that the American people, when they visit a restaurant, when they go to a restaurant, they order English muffins. Muffins are nothing but bread. Actually, the origin of these muffins were England, Britain. But now they have been made in America. Even though they are made in America, those muffins, they retained the name as English muffins. So they retained the name English with their origin. R.K. Narayan says that the same thing happened to even with the English language also. Because the Americans threw the Britishers out of their country and they got independence, they became an independent country, America, but they retained English language. Of course, they retained English language, but they toasted the language. Actually, toasting is a process that is that is made to a slice of bread. If a slice of bread is put under heat, that is called toasted bread. In the same way, Americans also toasted the English language. And he also observes that in that way, by toasting English language, the British people, the Americans, have toasted English language. And in the next part of the text, he says that Americans have freed the language, English, from the tyranny of passive voice. Britishers, in their language, in English, most of the times, they are inclined to use passive voice. They use much passive voice. But Americans, they do not use much passive voice, but they are very much comfortable in active voice. For example, where at a particular place, if something is not at a particular place, someone is not permitted to walk. In British English, they say trespassing prohibited. It is in passive. And trespassing is a not a familiar word for who communicate in English. Trespassing prohibited. But whereas American signboards, RKNRN observed that wherever trespassing is not permitted, is prohibited, there they put simple signboards like don't walk, newly planted. Here it is newly planted, so don't walk. So it is very simple. By seeing these expressions, anybody knows the meaning of those signboards and immediately they leave from that place. But Britishers try to use more passive voice in such occasions. And coming to our experience, Indian experience, R.K. Narayan humorously tells us that uh, where people are not supposed to walk, where they are if prohibited to walk, then we Indians, we put a 20-line inscription by mentioning all types of acts and laws, municipal acts, and if trespassing happened there, somebody walked through that way, that place, he will be punished. He will be given so much some kind of punishment. All these things will be in detail will be displayed on the notice board. Actual people may not have that much of time to read all those notices in their journey, in their passing. So he says that whatever we want to convey should be very simple, very easy. And in the last presentation, we concluded our presentation with this slide. Just by reminding you, I try to move to the next slide. So in the first 3, 4, 5 lines, it tells us that we put a long notice boards inscription where walking or trespassing is not permitted. But in America, Arkan observed in the last sentence, he says in the slide, I saw on many American offices, doors just do not enter. So simply, if people are working in their offices just, and if they do not want to get disturbed, then just they put a signboard, do not enter. So very simply, very easily, everyone can understand it and they can live from that. So up to this, we have completed in the last presentation, and we now continue the remaining part of the text in our presentation. Even in America, R.K. Narayan, during his visit, he observed how the traffic signs are displayed. So first I read this paragraph and later we try to understand these lines. The traffic signs at pedestrian crossings never means words. They just say go or wait. In a Hollywood studio, I was rather startled to read Mark Stevens, Keep Out. Mark Stevens is a busy television personality who did not like to be disturbed by visitors. So the traffic signs. So when R.K. Narayan passed through the roads, crossings in America, the traffic signs, what he observed at pedestrian. Pedestrian means the people who walk on foot, who want to cross the roads, who walk on pavement, pedestrian. So where the pedestrians are supposed to walk on the roads or cross the roads, at crossings, when they are crossing a road, never means words. So there is a simple display of words we can observe in America. For example, if the pedestrians are permitted to cross the road, just to say a simple word, go, is displayed on the traffic signs. So immediately the pedestrians, they cross the road. And if the pedestrians have to stop and the vehicles are permitted to cross to go through the road, then the traffic sign shows as wait. So two simple words. If there it is displayed go, the pedestrians cross the road. If the traffic sign displays wait, the pedestrians stop. So in this way, they use a very simple language, very convenient language for people who walk on the roads. And once in a Hollywood studio. So once R.K. Narayan visited a Hollywood studio, he went there, Hollywood studio. And when he went to Hollywood studio, Hollywood is a place where English American movies are made. So it's a big studio. Generally, the visitors, the tourists, they intend to visit that place. So he also, at his free time, he visited Hollywood studio. And when he went to Hollywood studio, I was rather startled. Startled means shocked, surprised. So when I went there, I was a little bit shocked. I was surprised, or can I am surprised. Why? To read, because at one place he read one line saying that Mark Stevens, keep out. So it is something displayed on the top of a door. What does it say? Mark Stevens, keep out. So this room belongs to Mark Stevens. Keep out. Keep out means to go out. Don't come in. Who is Mark Stevens? Mark Stevens is a busy television personality. Actually, Mark Stevens is a person, is a famous, renowned, well-known personality, and he was very busy television personality who works in television artist, and he was very much busy, Mark Stevens, who did not like to be disturbed by visitors. Since he was a famous television personality, many visitors, many tourists would like to visit him. They would like to meet him. But he was very busy with his work. So he did not want to meet the visitors, the tourists. So when he did not like to meet other people because he did not want to get disturbed in his work, because he might be busy in his shooting. If visitors come and tourists come, they try to disturb him. They try to meet him. They try to talk to him. So he did not want to get disturbed. So in that time, when he was busy with his work, just he put a small, simple signboard saying that Mark Stevens, keep out. So Mark Stevens is here. Please don't come. He is busy. So by seeing that board, incidentally, R.K. Narayan surprised. It left me, just I read the paragraph once, after that we try to see this paragraph. Incidentally, it left me wondering why, if Mr. Stevens does not like interruptions, he should announce his name at all on the door. But it is one of the minor mysteries that make travel to that country so engrossing. Incidentally, by seeing that signboard in front of Mr. Stevens' door, it left me wondering. When I read that signboard, I wondered, that signboard left me, it made me wondering. Wondering means surprising. I surprised. Why? Because I surprised if Mr. Stevens does not like interruptions. So by seeing that signboard, I could understand that Mr. Stevens does not like interruptions. So he wanted to go on his work. He does not like interruptions. People come and disturb him. He does not like that kind of situation. So then if he does not like interruptions, why he should announce his name? So R.K. Narayan got surprised. Then what if he does not want to see any visitors? If he does not want to get disturbed by visitors, then what is the need to announce his name? Mr. Stevens, keep out. So at one side, he is saying that here Mr. Stevenson is here, he is in his work. And again he's saying, don't disturb me, I'm in my work. So if he wants to not get disturbed by the visitors, then what is the need to announce his name? So that thing surprised R.K. Narayan. But it is one of the minor mysteries. I actually observed many mysteries. R.K. Narayan tells us that he observed many mysteries, many unknown things, because American culture, naturally one country's culture differs with that of another. So this kind of tradition culture differs from Indian culture. So that made R.K. Narayan a kind of mystery. So this is not only one mystery he came across, but many mysteries here R.K. Narayan does not understand. Among them, this is also one minor. If we, in Indian context, generally, if we do not want to meet anyone, we tell them, even though we present at home, generally we say that I'm not at home and I'm busy like that. But Mr. Stevenson, one side he does not want to visit the visitors, and the other side he announces that he uh, he is very much there that make travel through. So by understanding all these mysteries that make me travel through the country. So in this way, by observing all these mysteries, I traveled through the country. So engrossing means that country interested me very much. So many things interested me. So among the observing all those things, I traveled all over America. And in the next paragraph, R.K. Narayan tells that the toasting of English has been achieved through other means also. Americans have evolved certain basic keywords which may be used anywhere, anyhow, words which have universal, multi-purpose use. So the toasting of English, the toasting of English means the changes that Americans did, the adopted the changes that they have adopted. So the toasting of English language, the modification of English language by Americans has been achieved not only in the form of language, but this toasting also extended, it continued through other means also, in other ways also, other means also, in other ways also, the process of toasting, the process of changing, the process of modifying of English language uh, took place in America. For example, he says, Americans have evolved. For example, if we take the American people, they have evolved. Evolved means developed gradually. The course of time, they developed certain basic keywords. So in their usage, in their spoken written language, the Americans, they evolved, they developed certain, some words, basic keywords. Keywords means here the words, those are important words. They can work anywhere. Some important words we should know. So they developed certain keywords, and these words which may be used anywhere. And if you know these words in American context, in American situation, and these words, those words can be used anywhere, at any place, any kind of situation, we can use those places. Anyhow, in any way, anyhow, we can use these words. So these words are useful at any time, any place. Words which have universal and multi-purpose use. So these kind of words have universal. Universal means they are accepted at any place, everywhere in America. So if you know the meaning of these words, they are accepted anywhere. And these words have multi-purpose use. Multi means many. Purpose means here uses. So you can use such words, such basic keywords at any place and the multi-purpose. For example, one word if you know, that can be used at any American context, that can be used at a restaurant, at hotel, at a station, at college, anywhere. So that word functions multi-purpose. So this is done by America people. So in this paragraph, R.K. Narayan describes very clearly that American people have toasted English by evolving certain keywords. These words can be used at any kind of situation, at any kind of place. So that because they have very much universal and multi-purpose. So to illustrate his point, in the next part of the paragraph, R.K. Narayan uh, gives us one example. We try to see that example. I may make my point clear. If I mention the example of the word check, which may safely be labeled the American national expression, while British usage confines it to its bare dictionary definitions. The American uses it anywhere, the expression being so devised that one may blindly utter it and still find that it is appropriate for the occasion. So humorously, funnily, R.K. Narayan gives us one example to make his point more clear, a earlier point that was made by R.K. Narayan clearly. I may make my point clear. So I would like to here make my what I said. I wanted to make it too clear to you. If I mention the example, so in the last previous lines, R.K. Narayan told us that Americans evolved certain keywords that can be, those words can be used at any place, anywhere, anytime. Now he wants to give an example for that point. So I mention means I tell, I give you this example of the word check. Actually, this word check, if we take the word check, normally checking means testing. We take this word in these meanings: testing, examining, or verifying, and looking into, identifying. In these synonyms, we try to take check in this scenario context. But this word check, which may safely be labeled the American national expression. But R.K. Narayan tells us that the word check is most frequently, most commonly used word by Americans in different places in different times. So he labeled. Actually, the spelling shown in this slide is British spelling. So the system is showing it as a mistaken one because in American spelling, we will have only one L instead of double L. That is the difference. And in our previous presentations, we saw that American English differs from that of British English in spelling also. So here this we can observe. So while seeing this word check, this word may be safely be labeled. This word can be seen as the American national expression. So R.K. Narayan humorously calls this word check can be called as the American national expression. So it is the American national word might be because it is the it is the word which is used so commonly by every American. So wherever R.K. Narayan went, he observed people using the word check in many occasions, in many contexts. So by observing this word, by seeing this word, R.K. Narayan called this word check as the American national expression. If we see this word check, while British people use this word, they confine, they are restricted, they see this word, it is to its bare dictionary definition. British people use this word just its bare means simple, clearly. dictionary definitions. They use this word check as dictionary definition, whatever dictionary says. For example, examine, verifying, investigating. In that way, they use the word check by the British people. But the Americans use it anywhere. But American people use this word anywhere and any place. This expression being so devised. So this word, the word check, is so devised. It is like an instrument. We can use it as a device that one may blindly utter it. It is a very so common word that one person in America may blindly, without thinking anything, without seeing anything, blindly, that person may utter. Utter means say. The person may say this word, it, and still find, and still, even though by thinking something else, if he answers, he says something, if he utters this word check, that word still finds that it is appropriate for the occasion. So occasion, that situation, that condition, whatever the condition, whatever the situation is there, and that word will be appropriate. Which word? Check will be an appropriate word at any condition, at any situation, at any occasion. So in this paragraph, R.K. Narayan is clearly presenting one word check, which is termed as American national expression by R.K. Narayan humorously, because it is such a word that is used more commonly by Americans at any place. And if a person blindly can use this word at any occasion, and still it suits that, it becomes appropriate to that occasion. And here just try to observe the word occasion. The spelling of this word is very important. In occasion, we will have double C but single S. Sometimes we get confused as one C and two double S, but here it is two C, two C's and one S. Occasion is a situation condition. Actually, the word I will check means I will find out, investigate, examine, scrutinize, verify, or probe. Your check means your ticket, token, or whatever you may have to produce. Check room is where you leave your possessions for a while. So as we saw in the last sentences, last paragraphs, previous paragraphs, actually, if we see the dictionary meaning of the word check, or if a person says, I will check, if for something, in response to something, some questions or query or something, a person if says, I will check, means normally the meaning is that I will find out, I will trace it out. So I try to know it. If a person says I check it, I will check, then he means that I will find out. I try to know it. Or I try to investigate it. I try to go into the details of that thing and I try to make sure of the things that are involved in it. I investigate. Investigating means examining in detail, or otherwise examine. If a person is sitting at a place and if a customer comes to him in a hotel, for example, and the customer, I ask the receptionist, the person in the room, that which room is allotted to me. Then if the person says, I will check, means I will examine, just give me a second, I will examine, I will verify your name. That is the general meaning. Or scrutinize. Otherwise, I will check means I scrutinize. I try to examine it in detail. I will see the all the things that are related to that thing. And you can also observe the word scrutinize here, which is underlined in the red line. Actually, the spelling of scrutinize here mentioned is right according to British English. But American English, in American English, when they write the word scrutinize, they use the letter Z in the place of this, the second is the last but second letter. Yes. So the system is showing it as a mistaken spelling, but in British English it is right spelling, and in American English it is ZE. So in this way, many words differ in spelling also from American English to British English. And verify. If a person says, I will verify, means I will verify, I will test it. Or probe. Probe means a kind of investigation, going into details of that thing. This is generally actual the meaning of the word check or I will check in our general usage, in British usage. But in American context, American people, if they say your check, uh, if they say your check, it means your ticket. If a person wants to hand over your ticket to you, then that person says, not your ticket, but he says that your check. Your check means actually his intention is to hand over the ticket to the person. Or sometimes token. If one token is supposed to be handed over to a the person does not say that take your token, this is to your token, or this is your ticket, or here is your ticket. Instead of that, he says that your check. So in this way, to hand over anything, any article, any object, the handovering person says whatever it may be in that packet, he just hand overs it and says your check. It might be a letter, it might be a thing, it might be a gift, it might be a presentation. So in this way, it is a very simple, very common word used by every American by handovering something. Or token or whatever you may have to produce. So whatever the person wants to hand over, whatever the person wants to give, he says simply that you are check. And check room in American context also we can see the word check room. Check room means is where you leave your possessions for a while. Actually, check room is something, it's a room where you live. If you have some luggage with you and you want to leave the luggage, the baggage for some time at some place, and those kind of places are called as check rooms. So in that kind of places, you can leave your luggage, and after finishing your work, you can come back and you can collect your luggage. So that kind of rooms are called as check rooms in America. In India also, near the railway stations, bus stations, we will have the rooms, the luggage rooms, where we leave our luggage, and those rooms are generally called as clock rooms. But American context, they will call as them as check rooms. So in this way, Arkan Narayan presents very clearly that the changes that have made by Americans in English language according to the requirements, the needs. So in our presentation, Arkan Narayan, by giving some suitable examples, he tells us that how Americans have changed the language according to their needs. To illustrate this clearly, R.K. Narayan takes the word check, which is considered as American national expression by R.K. Narayan, which can be used at any place and at anywhere by the people of America. So in this way, R.K. Narayan presents the difference between American English to that of British English. So by giving many examples, he makes us to think about invention of one's own language. So here, with this, I conclude the presentation of Toasted English 3. The next presentation, we try to see the remaining part, that is the remaining text that is present in the lesson. So I thank all the listeners for listening this session.